Hello and welcome. Let's talk about mornings. Do you ever wake up, check your blood sugar, and just feel frustrated? You followed all the rules last night. You went to bed with a good number, but there it is, higher than you expected. It can feel like you're losing the battle before the day has even begun. If this sounds familiar, you are far from alone. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, nearly 1 in 3 American seniors over the age of 65 has diabetes. And for so many, that morning number is a constant source of worry. But what if I told you there's a powerful natural phenomenon happening inside your body every single morning that most people, even many with diabetes, don't fully understand? It's something doctors don't always have the time to explain in a 15-minute visit. But it could be the key to everything. And if you've been telling yourself, well, this is just my diabetes, I have to live with it, I am here today to respectfully challenge that idea. You have more control than you think. In the next 25 to 30 minutes, we are going to pull back the curtain on why mornings can be so tricky. We'll break down not just 1 or 2, but 3 essential habits, a simple, powerful system that can help you start your day feeling in control, energized, and confident. Stick with me, because these aren't just tips. The core problem we're tackling today is that frustrating, often mysterious, morning high blood sugar. Our goal is to give you a clear, science-backed, and practical toolkit to manage it. This isn't about a magic pill. To do this, we'll be drawing on research and guidelines from some of the most trusted names in health, including the Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins Medicine, the National Institute on Aging, and the American Diabetes Association. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to explore this as a journey through 3 essential pillars of a successful morning: strategic hydration, a blood sugar balancing breakfast, and gentle movement. Within those pillars, we'll uncover the top culprits that sabotage your morning numbers, and for each one, we'll discuss the why behind it and a simple action step you can take. You'll definitely want to stick around for our discussion on breakfast. We're going to talk about building a metabolic campfire, an analogy that will completely change how you look at your morning plate. And we'll uncover the dawn phenomenon, that unseen force I mentioned, and how to tame it. And a quick but very important reminder, I am not a doctor. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice from your own physician or healthcare team. Always consult with them before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or medication routine. They know you and your health history best. All right, let's dive into our first and perhaps most overlooked essential habit: strategic morning hydration. Before you even think about coffee or breakfast, what you drink first thing can set the stage for your entire day. We're going to look at 2 key reasons why this is so critical. The first culprit that can inflate your morning number is something that happens to all of us while we sleep: mild dehydration. Here's the simple science behind it. Over a full night's sleep, your body naturally loses water through breathing and even light sweating. This means when you wake up, the total volume of water in your bloodstream is lower than when you went to bed. Now here's the critical part. This doesn't change the actual amount of sugar floating around in your blood, but it absolutely changes its concentration. Think of it like making maple syrup. You start with sap from a tree, which is mostly water with just a little bit of sugar. To get syrup, you boil off the water. As the water evaporates, the sugar that's left behind becomes highly concentrated, creating that thick, sweet syrup we all know. Your blood works in a similar way. When there's less water in your bloodstream, the glucose that's already there becomes more concentrated, and your meter shows a higher number. It's a bit of a deception, because the total sugar hasn't changed, but the reading has. I remember a gentleman named Frank I spoke with. He was meticulous about his evening routine: perfect dinner, right medication dose, but he was always baffled by his high morning readings. His first move every morning was a small cup of coffee, but he wouldn't drink any water until much later in the day. Once he started a simple habit of drinking a big glass of water right after waking up, he was amazed to see his morning numbers become more stable and predictable. He wasn't changing his medicine or his food, just the timing of his water. So, your action step here is simple and immediate. Before your feet even hit the floor, or right after you get up, drink a full 8 to 16-ounce glass of water. Not coffee, not tea, not juice, just plain water. This simple act helps rehydrate your body, effectively diluting the blood glucose that has become concentrated overnight. It also gives your kidneys the fluid they need to help flush out any excess sugar from your system. Of course, while morning hydration is key, it's important to recognize the signs of more serious dehydration, which can be a particular concern for people with diabetes. These are the red flags. If you're experiencing symptoms like significant dizziness, a feeling of confusion, a very dry mouth, dark-colored urine, or a high heart rate combined with low blood pressure, that's a signal to call your doctor right away. These can be signs that something more serious is going on and you need professional medical advice. So we've rehydrated our system, but that leads to an important question. Why can't we just rely on our body's own signals to tell us when to drink? That brings us directly to our next point. The second hydration-related culprit that can trip us up is relying on an outdated internal warning system, your sense of thirst. Here's a fact that organizations like the National Council on Aging often highlight. As we get older, our body's natural thirst mechanism can become less reliable. When we were in our 20s or 30s, feeling thirsty was a pretty accurate signal that our body needed water. But for many seniors, by the time you actually feel thirsty, you may already be well on your way to being dehydrated. Waiting for that signal is like waiting for the smoke alarm to go off when you can already see flames in the kitchen. The warning is coming too late. Think about a typical busy morning. You get up, you have things to do. Maybe you're getting yourself or a loved one ready for an appointment. It's incredibly easy to go for an hour or even 2 without thinking about water because you simply don't feel that nagging sense of thirst. I've heard this time and again from folks who say, "But I wasn't thirsty." They were unknowingly allowing their blood sugar to become more concentrated, simply because their body's internal alert system wasn't as loud and clear as it used to be. The action step here is to shift from being reactive to being proactive. Don't wait for thirst to be your guide. Instead, make hydration a scheduled part of your morning routine, just as you would with taking your medication. A great way to do this is to keep a dedicated water glass or a water bottle right on your nightstand or on the kitchen counter. It becomes a visual cue, a reminder that your goal isn't just to quench thirst. Now, for our red flags. It's important to note that certain common medications, especially diuretics, often called water pills, are designed to remove excess fluid from your body and can increase your risk of dehydration. If you are taking these types of medications and you notice any of the red flag symptoms we just talked about, like dizziness or confusion, it is especially important to have a conversation with your doctor. They can give you specific guidance on your daily fluid intake goals to ensure you stay safely hydrated. All right, we've laid the foundation with water. We're hydrated and we've helped dilute that morning glucose. Now it's time to tackle the second and arguably most powerful essential habit, building a blood sugar balancing breakfast. Welcome to Pillar 2. If you take away only one thing from this video today, let it be this. The breakfast you eat can either be your greatest ally or your biggest enemy in the fight for stable morning blood sugar. We're going to dismantle the typical American breakfast and rebuild it from the ground up, starting with the invisible force that makes this meal so incredibly critical: The reason breakfast is so crucial is because of a powerful biological event that happens every morning called the dawn phenomenon. This is that insider secret we hinted at in the beginning. Here's how it works. Between about 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., your body naturally releases a surge of hormones, like cortisol and growth hormone, to prepare you to wake up and start the day. You can think of it as your body's own internal alarm clock, giving you a shot of energy. These hormones signal your liver to release stored sugar, or glucose, into your bloodstream. For a person without diabetes, this is no big deal. Their pancreas just releases a little extra insulin to balance things out. But if you have diabetes, your body either can't produce enough insulin or it can't use its insulin effectively enough to counter this hormonal surge. The result? You wake up with high blood sugar, even if you ate perfectly the night before and went to bed with a great number. Research suggests this happens to about half of all people with type 2 diabetes. This explains the frustrating experience of so many people, like a woman named Carol who told me she'd even tried skipping breakfast altogether. Her logic was no food, no sugar spike. But her numbers were still high. That's the dawn phenomenon at work. Your liver is producing sugar all on its own, independent of what you eat. In fact, skipping breakfast can sometimes make it worse because your body may continue to pump out those hormones, waiting for the fuel it expects. So your action step here is a fundamental shift in mindset. You need to recognize that your first meal of the day is not just about satisfying hunger. Now for the red flags. If you consistently have high morning readings despite making good choices, it's a fantastic idea to talk to your doctor about it. They might suggest an experiment. Check your blood sugar once in the middle of the night, around 2 or 3 a.m., for a few nights in a row. If your blood sugar is normal or high at that time, it's very likely the dawn phenomenon. However, if your blood sugar is low at 2 a.m., it could be a different issue called the Simoji effect or rebound hyperglycemia, where your body overcorrects for a nighttime low. This data is pure gold for your doctor, who can then use it to help you adjust your medication or insulin timing to get things right. So we now understand we're fighting this hormonal surge. The question is, what kind of breakfast fuel do we use to fight it? Using the wrong fuel is like throwing gasoline on an already burning fire. And that brings us to the most common breakfast mistake of all. The most common and damaging mistake is starting the day with what I call a kindling breakfast, a meal that's high in fast-digesting carbohydrates and very low in protein and fiber. To understand this, let's use our metabolic campfire analogy. Imagine you want to build a nice, steady, long-burning fire to keep you warm all morning. To do that, you need a solid log. Fast-acting carbohydrates, things like most breakfast cereals, bagels, muffins, white toast with jam, or sweetened yogurts, are like kindling, paper, and dry leaves. When you throw them on the fire, you get a big, fast, impressive blaze. And then, just as quickly, it's gone. In your body, this translates to a rapid flood of glucose into a system that is already high because of the dawn phenomenon. The result is a huge blood sugar spike, often followed by a crash a couple of hours later that leaves you feeling hungry, foggy, and tired. Your metabolic campfire has burned out. Think of the classic American breakfast that many of us were told was healthy. A bowl of bran flakes with skim milk and a glass of orange juice. It sounds good on the surface, right? But from a blood sugar perspective, it's almost entirely made of fast-acting carbohydrates. It's a giant pile of kindling. A client of mine, Bill, used to eat this every single day and couldn't understand why he was starving and needed a snack by 10 a.m., or why his energy was on a constant roller coaster. His campfire was burning out before his day had even truly started. Your action step is to become a breakfast detective. Audit your current breakfast. Look at your plate and ask yourself, is this mostly kindling? Read the nutrition labels on your cereal box, your bread, and your yogurt container. Look for the words added sugars and check the fiber count. The American Diabetes Association suggests looking for whole grain products that have at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber per serving, as fiber helps slow down that burn. And for the red flags, while managing your carbohydrate intake is absolutely key, if you take mealtime insulin, making drastic changes to the amount of carbs you eat without first talking to your doctor is a major red flag. Your insulin dose is often carefully matched to your typical carb intake. If you suddenly cut your carbs in half but take the same amount of insulin, you could be at risk for a dangerous drop in blood sugar, known as hypoglycemia. Always coordinate big dietary changes with your healthcare team. So if we're not building our fire with kindling, what should we be using? We need a solid, long-burning log. And that brings us to a nutrient that many people, especially those trying to be healthy, have been taught to fear for decades. Coming in at number 5 on our list of culprits is the outdated belief that all fats are bad and should be strictly avoided, especially at breakfast. Let's go back to our campfire analogy. If carbs are the kindling, then healthy fats are the long-burning log. They are digested very, very slowly. When you include a source of healthy fat in your breakfast, you dramatically slow down the absorption of any carbohydrates you eat alongside it. This is a game changer. It prevents that big fast spike in blood sugar. Instead of a flash fire, you get a steady, slow burn that provides stable energy and keeps you feeling full for hours. We're not talking about just any fat, of course. We are talking about the good guys, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. These are the fats found in foods like avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. I think of my own mother. For years, she was a proud member of the low-fat generation. Her breakfast was dry toast and a banana. When her doctor, citing guidance from trusted sources like Johns Hopkins, suggested she add a quarter of an avocado to her toast, she was deeply hesitant. All that fat, she would say? But when she finally tried it, the difference was like night and day. She told me she felt full and satisfied all the way until lunchtime, and her blood sugar reading after breakfast was significantly more stable than it had ever been. Your action step here is to intentionally and strategically add a source of healthy fat to your morning meal. It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference. It could be a small sprinkle of walnuts or chia seeds on your yogurt. It could be a spoonful of natural peanut or almond butter on a slice of whole grain toast. Or you could follow my mom's lead and add some creamy avocado to your eggs. This is one of the easiest and most powerful upgrades you can make to your morning routine. Now it is absolutely crucial to distinguish between these healthy fats and the unhealthy saturated and trans fats. These are the fats found in things like bacon, sausage, butter, and many processed baked goods. These unhealthy fats can increase your risk of heart disease, which is already a significant concern for anyone managing diabetes. So, as a red flag, if you have been diagnosed with high cholesterol or heart disease, it's always best to have a specific conversation with your doctor or a registered dietitian about the types and amounts of fats that are right for your individual health plan. We've got our kindling, the healthy, high-fiber carbs. We've got our long-burning log, the healthy fats. But a good campfire needs structure to hold it all together and keep it from collapsing. That brings us to the very foundation of our breakfast. The final breakfast culprit we need to tackle is underestimating the power of protein. If fat is the log and carbs are the kindling, protein is the structural foundation of a blood sugar-friendly meal. In our campfire analogy, protein is like the teepee structure you build with sticks to hold the kindling and logs in place, allowing for a steady, controlled burn. Just like fat, protein is digested slowly, which helps to blunt the sharp glucose spike you'd get from eating carbohydrates alone. But it does even more than that. Protein is also the nutrient that is most effective at promoting a feeling of fullness, or what scientists call satiety. This helps prevent overeating and snacking later in the day. In fact, research highlighted by the American Diabetes Association shows that a breakfast rich in protein not only helps with your morning blood sugar numbers, but can lead to better glucose control after lunch and even after dinner. A friend of mine, a retired teacher named Susan, made a simple switch. She went from her usual bowl of oatmeal, which was mostly Kindling, to 2 scrambled eggs with a handful of spinach and 1 slice of whole grain toast. This new meal had a strong protein teepee with just a little bit of Kindling. She told me, "It's amazing. I used to think about food all morning long. Now, I eat my breakfast and I honestly don't think about it again until it's time for lunch. I have so much more mental energy to focus on my day." That is the power of protein. Your action step is to aim for at least 15 to 20 grams of protein in your breakfast. This is much easier than it sounds. For example, 2 large eggs contain about 12 to 13 grams of protein. A single serving of plain Greek yogurt can have up to 20 grams, sometimes even more. Other fantastic options include cottage cheese with some fruit, a tofu scramble, or even a quality unsweetened protein shake if you're in a hurry. And for our red flag, for individuals who have been diagnosed with kidney disease, which can be a complication of diabetes, protein intake may need to be carefully managed and sometimes limited. If you have been diagnosed with any stage of kidney disease, it is absolutely essential that you work closely with your healthcare team to determine the specific amount of protein that is safe and healthy for you. And by the way, if you're finding this deep dive helpful, if you've had an aha moment, would you do me a small favor and tap that like button? It's a simple click for you, but it tells YouTube that this is valuable information and helps us reach and empower more people just like you. Thank you so much for that. Now, are you ready for our third and final essential habit? We've managed what we put in our body. Now let's talk about what we can do with our body. Let's move on to gentle morning movement. Welcome to our final pillar, gentle morning movement. Now, before you think, "I don't have the energy for that," or "exercise is just too hard on my joints," I want you to put those thoughts aside for a moment. We are not talking about running a marathon or lifting heavy weights. We are talking about simple, gentle movements that can have a profound and immediate impact on your morning blood sugar and your energy for the rest of the day. The first mistake in this pillar is falling into the sit and wait approach, waking up, eating breakfast, and then remaining sedentary for the first few hours of the day. Let's think back to that glucose surge from the dawn phenomenon. When you wake up, that extra sugar is sitting in your bloodstream, waiting for a job to do. When you're inactive, sitting in your favorite chair with the newspaper or watching the morning news, your muscles are dormant. They aren't asking for any fuel. But the moment you start moving, even gently, you send a powerful signal to your muscles. "Hey, wake up! We need some energy over here." This physical activity activates your muscles to start pulling that excess glucose directly out of your bloodstream to use as fuel, which in turn helps to lower your blood sugar levels. I think of my neighbor, Bob. He's a big reader and a man of routine. He'd get up, have his coffee and breakfast, and then settle into his favorite armchair with the newspaper for a good hour or two. He thought he was doing everything right. But when he started a new, simple routine, a 10-minute walk around the block right after he finished his breakfast, his post-meal numbers improved dramatically. He didn't change a single thing about what he ate, just when he moved. Your action step is to link movement directly to your morning routine, ideally right after you eat breakfast. The American Diabetes Association specifically notes that a simple 10 to 20-minute walk after a meal can significantly improve glucose control. It doesn't have to be long, and it doesn't have to be intense. The goal is simply to break that sit-and-wait cycle and put that morning glucose to good use. The main red flag to be aware of here is the risk of hypoglycemia, or low blood sugar. Exercise lowers blood sugar, and this effect can sometimes last for up to 24 hours. If you take insulin or certain other oral diabetes medications, exercising without properly balancing your food or medicine can cause your sugar to drop too low. This is why it is so critically important to talk to your doctor before starting any new exercise routine. They can give you personalized advice on the best timing for you and whether you might need a small snack beforehand to stay safe. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. A 20-minute walk sounds like a lot, or my knees just won't let me do that anymore. That is a perfectly valid concern, and it leads us directly to our next point. A huge barrier that prevents so many people from enjoying the benefits of morning movement is falling into the all-or-nothing exercise trap. This is the disempowering belief that if you can't do a full-blown, sweat-inducing, strenuous workout, then there's no point in doing anything at all. This is one of the biggest and most unfortunate myths in the world of fitness. Research from esteemed institutions like the National Council on Aging and Johns Hopkins Medicine confirms that for blood sugar management, consistency is far more important than intensity. Gentle, low-impact activities are incredibly effective. Things like a slow, leisurely walk, chair yoga, or even a few simple seated stretches all work to activate your muscles and improve your circulation without putting unnecessary stress on your joints. Let me share a quick, wonderful routine you can try. You can do this while your coffee is brewing in the morning. Sit tall in a sturdy, stable chair. Start by gently marching your feet in place for about 30 seconds. Then, do some seated knee-to-chest stretches, bringing one knee up toward your chest, holding for 15 seconds, and then switching to the other leg. Follow that with some gentle ankle rotations, circling each foot 5 times in each direction. Finally, do some overhead side stretches, reaching one arm up and over as you gently lean to the side. In less than 5 minutes, you've woken up your body, activated your major muscle groups, and started the all-important glucose uptake process. It all counts. Your action step is to completely redefine what exercise means to you. Give yourself permission to start small. Find a 5 or 10-minute gentle walking video on YouTube or a seated stretching routine designed specifically for seniors. The goal is simply to move your body in a way that feels good. Something is always, always better than nothing. As for our red flags, if you have significant mobility issues, problems with your balance, or chronic pain in your joints, it's crucial to talk to your doctor or a physical therapist before you begin. They are experts at helping you find safe, effective exercises that are tailored to your specific needs. They might recommend wonderful alternatives like chair-based strength exercises or water aerobics, which are fantastic for your muscles and have zero impact on your joints. This idea of gentle movement leads to one of the most fascinating and empowering concepts in all of diabetes management. It's about how exercise literally opens up new pathways in your body. Let's talk about unlocking your body's secret doors. The final movement-related point is not fully appreciating the magic of how exercise works on a deep, cellular level. It's not just about burning a few calories. Here's the lock and key analogy, which is used by the CDC and diabetes educators across the country to explain how this works. Think of your body's cells as millions of tiny houses with locked doors. Glucose, the sugar in your blood, wants to get inside these houses to provide energy. Insulin is the key that unlocks these doors. In type 2 diabetes, the locks on the doors can get rusty or gummed up. This is what doctors call insulin resistance. The key doesn't fit or turn as well as it should. Now here's the amazing part. When you exercise, your muscles have the incredible ability to create new doors that don't even need a key. During physical activity, your muscles can pull glucose directly out of the blood to use for energy, whether a working insulin key is available or not. This process is what's known as increasing insulin sensitivity. It means that the insulin you do have works much more efficiently, and your body becomes smarter at managing sugar. This concept is so incredibly empowering. It means you're not just temporarily forcing your numbers down. You are fundamentally retraining your body to be better at its job. Every gentle walk, every morning stretch is like installing more keyless entry doors on your muscle cells. You are actively making your body smarter and your diabetes easier to manage. Your action step is to view your morning movement not as a chore, but as a direct investment in your body's efficiency. Every time you move, you are actively improving your insulin sensitivity for the next 24 hours or even longer. You are setting the stage for better blood sugar control for the rest of the day. The most critical red flag with exercise is once again hypoglycemia. The signs can include feeling shaky, sweaty, confused, dizzy, or having a fast heartbeat. If you feel any of these symptoms during or after you move, you must stop immediately and check your blood sugar. If it's low, follow the 15-15 rule your doctor has likely taught you. And if you ever experience severe symptoms like fainting or seizures, that is a 911 emergency. This is why having that pre-exercise conversation with your doctor is absolutely non-negotiable. We've covered hydration, breakfast, and movement, 3 powerful distinct habits. But what's the secret ingredient that makes them all work together? That brings us to our final and most important point. The single most important habit that ties everything together is unwavering consistency. The real power isn't in doing these things once in a while. Managing blood sugar is not about grand heroic gestures once a week. It is about the cumulative effect of small, intelligent choices made day after day. When you consistently hydrate first thing, eat a balanced breakfast designed to stabilize your blood sugar, and move your body gently, you are not just managing your sugar for that one morning. You are improving your body's overall insulin sensitivity. You're reducing inflammation, and you're building a foundation of health that makes your entire system more resilient and easier to manage over the long term. Think about it like saving for retirement. One small deposit into your savings account doesn't seem like much on its own, but making those small, consistent deposits over years and years is what builds real, lasting wealth. Your health is the exact same way. Each morning you practice these 3 habits, you are making a deposit in your health bank account. It's the compounding interest of these daily actions that creates a vibrant, energetic, and independent life. Your action step is to commit to trying this 3-habit system for just 1 week. That's it, 7 days. Don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency. Set yourself up for success. Lay out your water glass the night before. Have your breakfast ingredients ready to go. Decide on your 10-minute walk or stretching routine in advance. Make it as easy as possible to succeed. Track your blood sugar numbers, but just as importantly, track how you feel. Notice your energy levels, your mood, and your hunger. The biggest red flag with consistency is the risk of burnout or feeling overwhelmed. If you find that this new routine is causing you stress or feels like too much, that is a sign to step back and simplify, and to talk to your healthcare team or a certified diabetes educator. They are experts at helping you find alternatives and build a plan that feels sustainable and empowering, not burdensome. Remember, the goal is to build habits that will serve you for a lifetime. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive. Let's take a moment to put all these powerful pieces together. So, as we've seen today, taking control of your morning blood sugar isn't about a single magic bullet. It's a strategic three-part system. It starts with strategic hydration to dilute your blood sugar and wake up your system. It continues with building a metabolic campfire for breakfast, using protein, healthy fats, and fiber to provide slow glycogen, steady energy that counters the powerful dawn phenomenon. And it finishes with gentle morning movement, which opens up those secret doors in your muscles and puts that morning glucose to work for you. The most important message I want you to leave with today is this: you are the CEO of your own health. You are not a passive bystander to your diabetes. These small daily choices, that glass of water, that well-built breakfast, that 10-minute walk, are your executive decisions. They are powerful tools that give you direct influence over your vitality, your energy, and your independence. As the great writer Maya Angelou once said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." You have the power to live a full, vibrant life, and it can start every single morning. Now, I would love to hear from you. Of these three essential habits, hydration, breakfast, or movement, which one was the biggest aha moment for you? Which one are you most excited to try? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I read every single one, and your stories and insights help our entire community grow stronger together. And if you found this deep dive valuable and you want more expert-level content to help you navigate your health journey with confidence and power, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the little notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember to be kind to yourself. Take it one day at a time and celebrate every small victory. Here's to your health, your strength, and your independence. I'll see you in the next video.